Now, our brave servicemen and women of the Army, the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy are going to be honoured tonight at the 9th Annual Sun Military Awards.
Well, this year's Millies, as they're called, see the introduction of some new categories, including the Inspiring Others Award. Captain Hannah Winterbourne is nominated. Her brave story of transitioning from a male officer to female after a tour in Afghanistan has led her to be a huge inspiration to a new generation of soldiers.
And Petty Officer Emma Grant is nominated in another new category, Overcoming Adversity. After an accidental fall back in 2006, she was warned she may never walk again. But she's defied the odds, and through her love of sport, sheer mental strength, she's made an incredible recovery. And they both join us this morning. It's great to see you both.
Morning.
In fact,
Good morning.
Emma,
Good
when
morning.
we were sitting over the desk as you came in, because I'd read on the brief, you may never walk again, but you strode through the studio. I mean, to have overcome that diagnosis to get to where you are is obviously one of the reasons you're nominated. What happened and how have you managed to fight back?
Basically, I had an accident back in 2006. I fractured my lower left leg, developed acute compartment syndrome, and as a result, basically my lower left leg was starved of oxygen. Was going down to theatre to have my leg amputated. I did lose all my anterior compartment and the ligaments to my toes, left me with a complete foot drop. And really, through sheer stubbornness of not wanting to get my leg amputated and going through the rehab process, basically made myself walk again within 6 months.
You made yourself walk again?
Yeah.
You're a Barnet woman. Amazing. Now, Hannah, I like your story because my brother's in the Army and a lot of family members in the Army. And I just love the idea. There you were in Camp Bastion in Afghanistan. You're described as being a very skilled and dedicated soldier. But you're there as a man, as a male soldier. And you realise, actually, you're a woman and you want to have this come out. But you're in the middle of the most male environment possible, somewhere that you would think would be incredibly difficult for you to actually come out and say what you'd said. And yet it worked. Not only worked, it was embraced by people. I find that so inspiring about your story. Tell me about that moment in Camp Bastion in Afghanistan, as you're serving your country, and about this moment when you went, enough.
Well, I think it's been something that I kind of knew. It was something bubbling inside of me for a long time, and it was just Afghanistan was a moment where I was in this very closed environment with no time off, in a very living in a small accommodation with 7 men, and so it kind of really just triggered that when I came home I had to do something about it. But one of the great things about the Army and the military in general is that we're a people-based organisation. It depends on relationships and working with each other. And so as long as I was good at my job, then, my colleagues, my people I commanded, the people I served, then, they were happy. And I think
many people will be surprised about that. They'll be surprised that you haven't had more pushback from people, just because, that wouldn't be, I guess, how many people would say the Army environment might be. It may not be the most tolerant place. What's great about your story is it was incredibly tolerant.
Absolutely.
And encouraging.
I'm completely grateful to the military and all the people I work with for just saying it and seeing it like that. And hopefully now we're taking that forward and making it better for people across diversity.
Has it caused you any problems at all?
No.
Making the transition from a man to a woman in the Army? Does it make any difference at all?
No, obviously when you transition you have your own personal demons to deal with, your insecurities, etc.
But in terms of actually serving your country?
Absolutely not. I've been deployed since Afghanistan to Kenya and other places as well. So it really makes no difference.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Extraordinary. Emma, how are you finding the role of the Navy in current circumstances? Because their task at the moment seems so focused on sort of being out in the seas and rescuing people, doesn't it? Rather than the combat role, perhaps.
Yeah, we are. We've always been that way. We've always played a massive role in humanitarian aid. I've been involved in that many a time.
But the huge migration crisis, the refugee crisis, people making these desperate trips in boats which are collapsing, the numbers of deaths you're seeing at sea.
It's a high demand on the Navy at the moment, definitely.
Can I ask you, is it true that you're captain of the female Royal Navy powerlifting team?
Yeah, I got... through my rehab, obviously with weights, I got into invited along to a powerlifting introduction with the army actually at Aldershot.
You're 5'2" and 55 kilograms.
Yeah.
What can you power lift?
So my current back squat is 85 kilograms.
Are you serious?
I can bench 45 and I deadlift 105.
Well,
I'm still just starting
I'm
out.
6'1".
And you haven't had an injury to your
I
leg.
weigh about 4 times what you weigh, and I can't lift half that.
Yeah.
So that you've now made me feel very embarrassed. And weak, very weak. Look, it's great stories, both of you. Have a great night at the Millies. It's a wonderful event by the Sun newspaper, and I've been to it a few times. Very inspiring. I think you're perfect examples of what that award ceremony is all about. And best of luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'll see you there later on because I'll be dressing up to go along, and it's hosted by our very own Lorraine, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks both.
Great
Great to
event.
see you.
Well done, the Sun, for putting it on.